Oh, really?
Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone, to the July 9th Village Board meeting. First item on the agenda is our county legislator, Joel Tyner.
Thank you, sir. I have hand out this evening. First thing is I wanted to invite you all. Usually this meeting, the Rhinebeck Village Board meeting, happens after the committee day each month and after the full board meeting. It's a little bit unusual because of the 4th of July. I can actually tell you what's going to be on the agenda. This Thursday is the monthly committee meeting. All the different 6 committees are meeting. And this coming Monday is the full board meeting for the legislature. So I'm not going to run through all the dozens of items, but just a few things you might be interested in. There was a man named Bob Sears from LaGrange, a former Republican county legislator. He and I were working strongly about a decade ago to try to keep item pricing in Dutchess County. So that if you go into the Stop and Shop in Rhinebeck or any of the supermarkets in the county, it's a law that, you see the stickers, the price is marked on the items. Unfortunately, as far as I'm concerned, some people in the county legislature have been really working hard, sadly, over the last year to repeal this law. I thought that their efforts had been beaten back, so to speak, but I was sort of chagrined to see that is back on the agenda this Thursday. It's not maybe the most exciting or interesting issue on the planet. It's not like the world is going to come to an end if this law is repealed. But if you care about senior citizens, if you care about consumer protections, and frankly, if you care about jobs, because if you look at what UFCW, United Food and Commercial Workers, have advocated on, written about this in Massachusetts and Michigan and all over the country, supermarkets lay people off. When these item pricing laws are repealed, there's layoffs. We're still in the worst recession we've been in the last 70 or 80 years. So I know you guys are doing great work here on the Rhinebeck Village Board. That's your priority. It makes a big difference if anybody calls or emails or comes to speak out. It makes a huge difference if you, now maybe you might disagree with me. No matter how you feel about the issue, feel free to come speak up. That's this Thursday, 4:45 p.m. on the 6th floor of the county office building, okay? You can call 486-2100. You can email all 25 of us, county legislators, at dutchessny.gov. Another couple things, the Poughkeepsie Journal has done many editorials over the last decade for well testing. So when properties change hands, the water's not poisoned, or at least people know, the buyer knows that the water's poisoned. And that is back on the agenda for this Thursday at 4:45. I spoke with somebody at Smith Labs recently on Route 9. MTBE is still being found all over the county. This is 9 years after the stuff was being banned from being put into our gasoline. Methyl tertiary butyl ether, nasty, carcinogenic, toxic additive. You see 99G, the Getty Station, tanks dug up again. Well, 6 months after MTBE was banned, the Dutchess County Health Department itself found MTBE contamination. It's nasty stuff. Rockland, Westchester counties, they have this law under Republican county executives. 1/3 of the time they're finding contamination. I talked to real estate brokers. They say that about half the time the water is found to be contaminated when tests are done. Tests are not always done. So if you care about that, please come. Also, Drayton Grant recently passed away. One of the issues she was pushing me hard on for years was neighbor notification for pesticide application. Just 48 hours notice before pesticides are going to be sprayed within 150 feet. Not talking about banning pesticides, which plenty of places have done in Canada. This is just 48 hours notice before pesticides are sprayed. Make sure the laundry's brought in, the toys, the kids are protected, the pets. You could spend about 7.5 years looking at all the research, documenting the links between pesticides and cancer. So if you care about any of that stuff, come out, speak up, whatever your mind is, this coming Thursday, 4:45, 6th floor of the county office building. Dr. David, last night was the Democratic Legislature caucus, also the Republican caucus. Dr. David Conklin, the president of the college, was making his presentations to the 2 caucuses. He pointed out the same thing he's pointed out for many years, that Dutchess County, the sponsor share, the percentage of community college funding that comes from county government, here in Dutchess is at the bottom of the barrel compared to you look at other counties in the Hudson Valley. That's just a simple fact, and he was pretty emphatic about that when he shared that with us. The last thing I'll say is, well, real quickly, today's Poughkeepsie Journal has a letter to the editor from Dr. Kenneth Liegner from Pauling. This whole thing about the Lyme debate, unfortunately, nobody in the media reported it 4 years ago. Hardly anybody reported it. I got a resolution passed almost unanimously. Even the Republicans agreed chronic Lyme disease is real, health insurance needs to cover it. It's still an issue. I think that the Dutchess County Health Commissioner and anybody who's on the Dutchess County Board of Health really needs to take this issue seriously and not play games with the CDC and the Infectious Diseases Society of America. So that stuff is on the agenda. We should be approving yes or no for the Health Commissioner. That's not on the agenda this month. I don't know why. There's something going on with the Board of Health related to this issue. Last but not least, the forum flyer that I handed out. You're all welcome to come join me Wednesday, July 24th at 6 o'clock, Rhinebeck Town Hall, just across the way. And I've been doing a lot of research in a lot of years, trying to point out how much we could save tax dollars and actually create jobs. I don't know if I reported this to you at last month's meeting. I actually got another resolution passed unanimously for Dutchess County to follow the solarizemadison.com example. Madison County, Genesee County, Tompkins County, it's basically a 25% discount on solar installation for municipalities, homeowners, and businesses if the county planning department pursues it. We passed the resolution unanimously, my idea. Hopefully the county planning department's going to purchase it. Anyway, you guys have been very patient. I have to run to the Clinton Town Board meeting, which started about 10 minutes ago. I'm at 876-2488, willing to talk about all these issues. Again, Wednesday, July 24th, 6 o'clock, Rhinebeck Town Hall. Happy summer.
Thanks, Joel. Okay, department reports, wastewater. Grant's not here. Wastewater treated was 3.87 million gallons of sludge processed, 46,700 gallons. Pounds of sludge processed, 5,483. Cubic yards of sludge processed, 25.2. M&O sanitation hauled 28,500 gallons of sludge, and the reason for that, of course, is because of the new sludge press installation. Ferrochloride used 126 gallons, lime used 700 pounds. In relation to the sludge press, it is supposed to be tested. They were going to test it sometime today. So the test should be completed here this week, and we should be up and running. And glad to see that come to a successful conclusion. Any questions? Okay. Water Department, Heinz.
We had net treated water this month of June of 13,379,000 gallons. We also finished the water plant emergency recovery plan, and thanks to Lisa here, who did a yeoman's job getting it done at night. We had to reformat the thing and completely rewrite it in many ways. The water plant is ready for painting, for the paint crew. They're going to show up somewhere in the early part, first week in August. As far as the distribution system is concerned, we replaced an aging fire hydrant and a valve on Route 308. Had to take 2 tries to do that. But before we do any more hydrants in the future, we have to do quite a number of valves to upgrade. We did 2 today on South Street and Route 9, and we have to do additional ones up on Route 9 and Platt Avenue. A lot of these valves are compromised. They either don't turn on or don't turn off. I did some research in terms of our distribution system here and found that the earliest part of it was started in 1897, between 1897 and 1899. And I will make a map of this. I have a map of it already, but I will consult with some former village officials to look for the extent of this system, and then want to go out and test it. What we dug up today was some pipes, 4-inch and 6-inch pipes, which looked tuberculated quite a bit, and we expect that the others are as well. I requested and received a hydrant flow testing a work plan from our village engineer, and we'll use that in the next few months to get started on that, but I want to first also map the old system out. And then what I plan to do here is to test pressure and residual pressure and flow rates of some of the old systems. I sent a letter of intent to the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, which is run by the New York State Office of Emergency Management, to get hopefully reimbursed for some of the $180K that we spent on relocating the South Parsonage water main pipe that was compromised through Irene. I have done some additional work on electric power reduction initiatives, and first I want to tell you what happened on on our solar panels here. I have some copies to give you. Essentially, what we have on our solar systems, we have two data loggers on there. The first data logger is supplied by Enphase, and what that logger does, it actually looks at the status of the system, and it's essentially a diagnostic tool to locate failures and so on, and it provides also a rough estimate of the amount of power that the system has generated. It's about 95% accurate or so. The second system is a locus system, which is much more accurate, and that actually reports the power produced and the power consumed. And if you look at this, what they give you here, you can see the first page is a daily printout of the amount of power produced and power consumed of the village hall here. The next page is a monthly summary going back from 6/20 when I repaired the system to 6/31, and it shows for that part. It shows that we generated 1,000 kilowatt hours, 1,100 kilowatt hours, and consumed about 1,600 kilowatt hours. The third one here is the total dollars saved during that time period after we fixed, after the system got brought back on board, and it looked like we saved about say $190 in the period of 6/20 to 6/30. What I want to do is give you for the next 2 months just a monthly update of what the system does, and then I want to do it quarterly if that's what you want done. Otherwise, okay.
Good job.
So that's one thing. You're welcome. Oh yes, and from December 2011 till today, we saved about $7,300 on that system. And that's based on 16 kilo.
So about a year and a half.
Year and a half, year and a half. Of course, December was virtually nothing in January, low production month. But we saved about $7,300, and yeah, that was based on 16 cents a kilowatt hour. Now, the 16 cents is not something that is constant, it changes. I went to the website from Central Hudson and looked at what their 2-year average was, and the 2-year average was 16 cents. Okay. While I was working on this solar data reporting system with a fellow from Menino Electric, name is Chris Phone, I said, I found out that NYSERDA gives grants for larger installations, anything over 500 kilowatt hours. And he and I sat down and looked at our maps and said, where are the potentials in the village additional to what we have up here? It turns out that there's not too much funding available for smaller systems. The one that NYSERDA is funding is one for 500 kilowatt hours, which would work very well for the water plant. The problem here is that we don't have enough land to build such a system. We figured out that we need about 6 to 7 acres to put solar panels up there to drive the water plant. Okay, so that's a no-go. We looked at the garage again, and that would work because there's a lot of land there. The problem there is that we would have to put it on the other side of the creek and have to cross with the power cable over the creek, but also it's in a floodplain. I mean, if you remember during the last storm, had water almost up into the roof. Other places I looked at was the police department here. And I said, man, that's a beautiful roof and so on, except when I took a picture, I saw all these trees out there, and the trees are right in the to the south of it.
The side that we would want to use.
So that wasn't doing any good. And the same thing with the wastewater plant. There's no land there at all. So we gave essentially up on this, and so there's nothing to do. I have a request from Tom Wallbank to our senior water operator to give Justin Trapnick a out of title pay for 3 days starting July 1st. And I guess I have to make a motion to...
July 1st or August 1st?
No, July 11th, I'm sorry. July 11th and the following 3 days. 3 days. So I have to make a motion, I guess, to bestow a out of title pay to Justin Trapnick for 3 days starting July 11th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? You familiar with what we're talking about?
More or less.
It's part of the union contract. You can,
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye. Opposed? So voted.
I have one more item here, Jim, and that has to, that we may not want to do that here, but a discussion on credit cards. We have in the water department one or two customers that have used credit cards in the past, maybe once in a year. And when another customer came in and wanted to have a pay by credit card, the company wouldn't accept them. Didn't know what was the credit card problem. It was us. It turned out to be us because we hadn't used it for so many years, and so they just shut us down. I had philosophical problems with that, but that is not the business for this discussion over here to have credit cards in this kind of environment here. But there are different areas here, and I think what I wanted to talk to you about is to have really what we want to do as a village in terms of credit card. We have the water department that people pay by credit cards. We have the mulch. People could pay by credit card, which probably would be a good thing. Planning and zoning has a lot of, I don't think they use credit cards, but they...
If you're in favor of setting up the credit card system, just make a motion to that effect.
Well, but I wanted to have it on a broader basis, on the village basis, not just for the water department.
We could do that.
Okay.
Right now, we're talking about the water and the sewer bills. If you want people to have that ability, just to make a motion to that effect, and then we can look at the other options for payment for other departments. We have to set that up.
Or taxes, for that matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I want to make a motion that we, I was first against it before I became for it.
Well, until you found out how it actually worked.
Well, no, there's,
Just make the motion.
let me make, we can discuss it, and I want to make a motion to accept the credit card payments for the
Is there a
water and
second?
sewer department.
Second.
Any discussion?
Do we pay a fee?
Well,
To the credit
okay,
card
yeah,
company,
well,
we-
the concern I had were manifold. First of all, there's a fee attached to it. I think it's like 2.5% before that
We
gets.
don't pay it.
We don't pay that. That gets right on the person who charges to get charged for that right away. The good part is that within 2 or 3 days, the money is in our account. Okay. The bad part is, in my mind, is we collect the money for late fees and so on, and we lose that ability. Now we are not at risk here at all because
wait a minute.
yes,
Why is it a problem if we're paid on time?
that is not a problem. That is wonderful. The problem is that
So what's the
there's a
problem
lot of
with the
people
late fee?
because there's a lot of people who pay late.
Right, but if people pay on
Time,
time, that's what we want.
That's what we.
We don't want them to pay late,
Late,
even if we
yeah.
get a late fee,
Yeah, but
because
in
we're
the-
still waiting for our money. We've provided a service that we've already paid for.
Right, but eventually we recoup all that money for late fees. And if people don't pay at all,
Having been in my own business for
Yes.
25 years, I would much rather somebody pay their bill on time than me have to collect a late fee,
okay.
okay?
So that is, that was, as far as I were concerned, was a downside. Additionally, credit cards are a slippery slope, but everybody's doing it these days, so. That's my part of
Okay,
the
so we
discussion.
have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Wait, are we, is this to accept credit card payments for everything?
Yes.
No, just the water and
sewer
sewer.
right now.
Oh,
We're gonna reactivate
There
it.
it is.
We had it, it was
Yes.
deactivated
Right.
for
Yeah.
lack of usage.
Yeah.
We're gonna reactivate it.
And Jim has, I have the form here, Jim has to sign it.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
aye.
Go ahead.
Opposed? So voted. Is that it, Heinz?
That is it for me.
Okay, fire department.
All right, the call report for June for EMS, we had 22 in the town, 25 in the village, for a total of 47. Fire calls, 17 in the town, 8 in the village, for a total of 25. Motor vehicle, 5 in the town, 0 in the village, leaving a total of 5. Total June calls, 44 in the town, 33 in the village, and 77 overall. Year-to-date is 247 for the town, 232 for the village, and 478 grand total. There are no new firefighters this month. The dryer that was approved for purchase should be installed this week or next week. The next thing on here is the washer. They're looking at a washer to wash the gear that would go along with the dryer that's already been purchased. I left a quote there from Gouch. We did look at the state bid. John Gay did most of the work on that, and I met with him and the chief on it. The state contract is a hard mount machine, which has to be bolted to the floor, and it has to have a floor drain, a gravity drain on it. The base price for that is $2208, which that's all that's quoted in the state bid. And then on top of that, they got another quote that included some of the additionals, requiring the base for it to be mounted on. Installation brings the total up to about $3,300. And on top of that, that doesn't include the plumbing or the electric, which they would need to chisel out and put in a floor drain to tie into the current floor drain specific for the washer, and it would also need to have 220 service, which isn't currently in place. Also doesn't include a soap dispenser, which I guess would control the usage and make sure they have the appropriate amount. Which brings us to the quote here from Gouch, which is the 20-pound, and this is a soft mount, which is more similar to what we have in a house, with the cushioning on it, can sit anywhere, and it's got the pump, so it pumps out into the slop sink that they already have there. It runs on 110, which is available currently, so this would kind of be, put it in
Seamless
place.
transition.
Yeah, put it in place, ready to go on day one with no additional cost involved, but the cost comes out to be about, just under $1,000 more than the state bid, but it eliminates that, the cost of on-site modifications. So I would like to make a motion to move forward with the quote that you have here in front of you for $4,325 for the turnout gear washer.
Is there a second?
A second.
Discussion?
Yeah, you said you have to hook into a drain?
This one, the soft mount, will have, you know how a regular household washer has the hose that comes out of the back and it's a pump that feeds it?
Right.
This one will have that, so it can just dump into the existing slop
Oh,
sink.
okay, so you don't have to dig up the floor?
No, this is kind of ready to go price, whereas
Okay.
the other one, you'd need to buy a kit to mount it on top of the floor, and then install a floor drain that would sit underneath of it. Because the floor drain now is, 4 feet off the wall or something, and you'd want the machine,
What they
Up
would
against
have
the
to do
wall.
is cut a hole in the concrete
yeah,
and then run plumbing from the back of the washer that would come out to the existing floor drain.
right.
So you'd have a piece of plumbing coming out onto the floor in front of the machine, which, can create a tripping hazard.
Right, but now with this one, you don't have to do that.
No, it's- yeah,
There's less extra cost
Yeah.
going this way.
right.
Okay, that's it.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So voted. You want to do the insurance now, Heath, or you want to do that under other
We
business?
can wait till other business. I did have one other question, though. They were asking about, with the installation of the washer, it's going to displace some of the stuff that's in there for storage, and they were inquiring about usage of the outbuilding there that the police are currently moving things out of into the basement.
What are they looking to store? I mean,
I don't have an
if it can
inventory
go
of,
in that building, it can't be very important, just
Right.
try to get a feel for them, what they want to put in there,
okay,
And what building is that again? I'm sorry.
One of the cell
They-
tower buildings
yeah.
that the police were using,
Yeah.
and the police have vacated.
they were in the process over a weekend of
Yeah,
vacating it, so,
I would just find out what they want to put in there.
okay,
That's it?
that's it.
Okay. Street Department, Howie?
Yes, 2 hazardous trees were removed, one on South Street and the other one on Astor Drive. These trees were not recommended by the tree commission last month, but they came up as being hazardous trees. Mike noticed them, and I think he went to see the one on Astor Drive, right, Jim? The one where the one limb fell off, and
Yep.
the tree was in danger of falling over Astor Drive, and possibly taking out the electric for the sewer department. So that one was removed, and so was the one on South Street, right over here in the corner. Wastewater Department, sorry.
Anthony's going to be mad at you, Steve.
Okay, maybe he won't notice. Anyway, we're trying to protect Anthony's wastewater department. And then the other tree was over here on the corner of South and Route 9. I actually took a picture of that, if anybody wants to see it, the bottom part of it. You saw it, was all
Yep.
rotted out, in danger of falling.
Which one was that, Howie?
Right here in the corner of South Street and Route 9.
Oh, the one that broke on Memorial Day weekend?
No, another one on the other side
They
of
would
there.
have broken up in the
It's
next
north
storm.
of that a
Yeah.
little bit.
It was on the same person's property.
It's hollowed out.
Yeah.
bottom.
Okay, and also the one that was approved by the tree commission on Mulberry Street, I believe that was 38 Mulberry?
Yep.
That was taken down also.
Dr. Gershoni's house.
Okay, the firehouse doors should be installed in the next few weeks. We're replacing the back doors here on the fire department. They're old wooden doors down there. We're installing new insulated doors. And John Ramondo from the highway department has been working on painting these door frames out here in the front and in the back. Heavy downpours has shown us that some of the drain lines can't handle the amount of water that comes with some of these storms, and one happened yesterday. West Market, West Chestnut, and Chestnut Street flooded from rain volume. And a few weeks ago, we opened the gate valves to lower the water level on Crystal Lake due to avoid the flooding, and that worked very well. Jim, that was one of our first time we really tested that.
Well, I wouldn't say it's the first time we tested it. Last year, we had to open them and drain the lake significantly, but we never got any rain.
Yeah.
This time, we got the rain.
And this time we
But
didn't.
the water didn't back up.
Yeah.
By opening the valves, it never drained below the spillway, but it never went over the sidewalls at the spillway either, so.
Howie, on that intersection of West Chestnut Street and where Wookiees
Yes.
things, that particular pipe, that goes directly into the main under Route 9. I have a sense that this thing is either not clean or it's too small.
It's too small.
So that is not probably a big deal to fix that for the highway department. They have to cut maybe 30 or 40 feet.
The problem is the main on Route 9 is too small. We can't get the water away quick enough.
Yeah, no, but that was actually working. That Route 9 was not the problem. It was where the water collected was right on West
Right, because
Chestnut.
it can't drain off onto Route 9
Nine,
because of the volume of
right.
water going on
Right,
Route 9.
so, but I think it's a problem with the pipe, the size of the pipe from West Chestnut to Route 9.
Now, what's happening, Heinz, is the volume of water cannot be taken away quick enough, so it backs up into Chestnut Street.
West Chestnut and Chestnut
And
Street both
Chestnut.
got flooded.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, okay.
yeah.
But
And what we have is too small a diameter pipe on Route 9 taking the water away, so it backs up into those areas.
Because I did not.
Increasing the size of the pipe on Chestnut or West Chestnut isn't going to help the problem any.
No, but in previous situations, I thought we had actually the water collecting on Route 9 into the pipes and then it wouldn't go, but this didn't happen this time.
Well, we
It
cleaned
was
Route
them
9 out last year,
Right,
which has helped some. But when we get those high-volume downpours like we had last night, or we had one earlier this spring when
Yeah.
Heath and I were
well,
out,
we had one 2 weeks ago.
the fire
a week and a half ago.
commissioners, when we have those types of storm events, our drainage system is just inadequate to get the water away quick enough.
But the one thing I noticed, Heinz, was down by the Village Green, there's a storm drain there.
Yeah.
That was not clogged up.
That's right.
But everything in the back was.
Everything in the back away.
Everything back of that was all flooded.
Well, the fact that the drain's not plugged up is a good indication that the drain is working. But the problem is that the pipe underneath the road is not big enough to handle the volume of, we know how the drainage system works. It goes from West Chestnut and Chestnut Street and feeds to Route
Yeah.
9 and then goes up Route 9.
Yeah.
And all the way along Route 9 are more catch basins dumping water into this thing. All right? So once the pipe is full of water, it's not going to take any more water, so it's going to back up to the farthest point away.
Yeah, but why aren't the storm drains in Village Green and going onto
Because
Locust
it's
Road?
downstream from it.
They're not backed up.
They were not back then.
It's downstream.
Could there be a clog between that one and the one before
Which way
it?
does it flow?
Well, the only way to know if there's a clog is to put a camera in there,
Yeah.
you know? But
Which way
my
does it go?
belief is that we just, for those significant storm events, we have an inadequate drainage system, period. And unless we enlarge it, there's nothing we can do about it. And that's why we're looking at West Market Street, putting bigger catch basins and bigger pipes in.
Well, there, in that particular area, when we had a heavy rain about 2 weeks ago, there were sheets of water floating down Oak Street, going right into into West Market Street. And it was awful.
Was that clogged?
No, it wasn't clogged.
I didn't think it was.
It didn't flood.
It's just not big enough to take the water away. That's the
No,
problem
but
we have.
but that one wasn't,
The
even yesterday it wasn't
I don't know.
backed up.
the drainage system we have is not designed for the amount of water we're shedding to it now. It was designed 70 or 80 years ago, whenever it was put in the ground.
Yeah.
We didn't have the number of buildings or houses or blacktop. There was more ground to absorb the water.
Where does it terminate? Where does it dump
It
out?
goes all the way up behind Bob Fennell's house and then makes a corner, makes a cut in behind Steve Melly's house and dumps out behind,
On the edge
down
or
by the
somewhere?
Woods condominiums.
Okay.
Yeah, before you get there, before you get to this.
I know where you mean.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Mulch, we're all sold out of mulch. We're planning on grinding the brush that we have down there now. And Mike got a quote for $7,500 to grind up the stuff we have down there. So I have to make a motion for that to approve that.
you want to grind the mulch, make the motion.
I make a motion that we grind that's not the mulch, it's the trees and
Grind the brush.
the brush, grind the brush to make the mulch for $7,500. I know last year it was $10,000.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Why is the air conditioner not on?
I don't know. Because of the sound in the cameras.
You won't be able to hear us on TV.
It's hot in here.
Okay, equipment two-wheel drive backhoe was repaired twice this month. The garbage truck broke down, so we had to send it out for repair. And in Blacktop, well, they have been cutting out the bad spots in the roads and fixing the road base and resurfacing. That's it for Mike's report.
You were talking about a tree commission before. Are you done with that? Because there was.
No, we didn't do
haven't
tree
done
commission yet.
yet.
I'm sorry?
Tree commission isn't done until later.
Oh,
That's under committee reports.
Jim, did you want to talk about the
Yes.
Big Bellies?
We had authorized Tom Mannix putting together the package for us for repaving South Parsons Street, which he has completed. So now what we have to do is authorize going out to bid. He had submitted here an invitation to bid, which is going to be put in the paper, but what my suggestion is we're going to need to fine tune this a little bit because it's awful big. It's going to cost a lot of money. It's got too much information in it. I think what we need to do is shorten it just so that it says that we're going to advertise for resurfacing of South Parsons Street and that interested parties may pick up the bid package at Village Hall and leave it at that. Because the last time we did one, what was the one we did last week, Lisa? Oh, we did the thing for
The water sewer, the.
job posting.
Yeah, the wastewater.
It went from $300 to $1,000 depending upon the size of it.
Really?
So, yeah, you need to, when you do these, you have to make them as short as possible because you end up paying by the line. Right?
Yes.
Isn't that how it worked? So I'll talk to Tom about this tomorrow, but what I would like to do is make a motion to authorize us going out to bid for South Parsons Street.
Second?
Any discussion?
Tom who, or Tom
Tom Mannix.
Mannix?
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So voted. And just so everybody's aware, it's going to be sent out to bid in Phase 1 and Phase 2. Phase 1 would be 1,500 feet, starting at East Market Street and going south, and then Phase 2 would be from that point where that ended, going the rest of the way south to Mill Street. The Big Belly. We have permission from the post office, from the postmaster to place one on post office property where that alleyway is between the Beekman Arms. And I had gotten the survey so we could verify where the property line is, and we can locate it on the post office property. So the question here is, I'll make a motion that we authorize the purchase of another Big Belly. I need a second.
Second.
All right, discussion. We didn't budget for that in this year's budget, correct? But what we had done the last 2 years or 3 years, we had budgeted for two. And we
Yeah.
only bought one per year.
Right.
Right, and we put three in, right? Yeah, we've put three in.
Yeah.
So there was money that was budgeted in the past that never got spent.
So that's sitting in the fund balance
So
now.
it's sitting in the fund balance now. So that's where the money would come from. It would
And the
come out of
money
fund
is how
balance.
much? Six?
About 6,000, and then we have to install it. But over there is not a major problem because there's blacktop
Yeah,
there.
but the highway department does that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The location is out by the sidewalk or where?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you know how there's those wooden posts with the chain on it? It'll be right inside that, close to the sidewalk. Perfect location, has exposure to the south and southeast for the sun. It's away from the street, so, a vehicle can't back into it, so it's a perfect location.
They're sitting under trees there, right?
It's in the sun. I make sure of that before I
Well,
even
it
suggest
probably
a
doesn't
location.
matter because it needs daylight. That's probably sufficient.
Well, you don't want to put one underneath a tree,
Tree.
where it's going to be shaded all
I
the
just
time.
have a sense that there were trees along there.
Well, there's trees out along the street,
Street,
but
right.
this is back from the street, and that whole lawn space is open, so it'll function. So I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So voted. All right. That's it, Howie, for street department?
Yes.
It's this year.
Yeah, we're not going to
We're not
talk.
going to talk about it yet. Planning and zoning. I have on here a resolution for sidewalks on Montgomery Street as part of the site plan approval for Northern Dutchess Hospital expansion. There was a public hearing about the hospital last week. Heinz was there, I was there, Heath was there. Howie came up after his tree commission meeting. And basically, I had polled all of you guys, of course, previously, asking what your feelings were about a sidewalk on the north side of Montgomery Street on the hospital campus. And I feel it's important, due to our vision and our idea of making the village as pedestrian-friendly as possible, that that campus be fully connected, so that people don't have to cross the street more than one time or in a dangerous location. And that every one of those hospital properties has access with a sidewalk. So the planning board, when I brought this up, there was discussion and there was a little back and forth between myself and the landscape architect. And the planning board wanted to know, John Clark asked the question, if I was speaking myself or if I was speaking on behalf of the board, and I expressed to him that I had polled you guys and that the majority of the board was in favor of the sidewalk connection. And I said, if you would like a resolution, I certainly will ask the board for a resolution, and he said that would be helpful. So I am going to make a motion that we submit a resolution in favor of this sidewalk being installed as part of the site plan for Northern Dutchess Hospital's expansion.
I second the motion.
Hawkins has got a second. Any discussion?
We're gonna
Go ahead.
specify it goes all the way to the end of the
Correct.
property by the farmhouse and
Correct.
everything, okay.
Yep.
So make sure it's all in there.
I think it's important because if you're gonna have the sidewalk in front on Route 9, you can't just have that sidewalk end right there, because you can't cross the street there safely.
Well,
So it has to come down and then go to the, I know you wanna go past that, but
As
there's a walkway there.
As I explained to them, we have people that may come from the woods, Wells Manor, Village Green, and they want to just go visit a friend at the Thompson House. All right, so basically, they have to cross in the crosswalk that's on Montgomery Street now, which is going to stay there, and walk through a parking lot, which they admitted in their site plan presentation to us that all their heavy delivery trucks use that road and go down through that parking lot. So it's just not a good situation. So I think that I expressed to them, I think it's bad planning and short-sighted to not put this sidewalk in. And again, the other thing I mentioned, what happens in the wintertime? You know? Now you've got snow piled up on both sides of the road. You have Montgomery Street, if somebody walks past the Baptist home and goes down towards Hogs Bridge, and then they want to cross over the street, not in the crosswalk, they have to climb over a snowbank, or they have to go out of a driveway entrance to another driveway entrance. So it's just, to me, it needs to be there.
And they previously agreed to do the Route 9 section.
Correct. And they
Do we-
previously agreed because the planning board asked them.
Okay.
And I had asked the planning board to ask them for the Montgomery Street one, but they did not.
I was just wondering if we should include that in the resolution, that it just includes from one end of their property all the way to the other.
It's already in the drawings for Route 9.
All right.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? So voted. Police and court. I'm going to, we are in process of hiring a new officer. Pete had interviewed fellow Chris Cuddyback, a young gentleman, great resume. He works for the Millerton Police Department on a part-time basis now, and he's looking for more work, so I met with him and talked with him. Very nice young man. So I'm going to make a motion to appoint Chris Cuddyback as an officer for the Rhinebeck Police Department, and that's in conjunction with Pete Dunn's recommendation as the officer in charge. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
You interviewed him?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, I met with him at the station 2 weeks ago. So it's, as long as we approve it tonight, then Pete just has to go through the formality of getting all the equipment and the uniforms and all of that. Pete went through his normal process he does for any new hire.
We had a vacancy there, or?
Actually, we have two vacancies.
Where does he work again?
He was working for Millerton right now.
Oh.
Yeah. His father, and actually his father worked for the sheriff's office too. Pete knows his dad from the sheriff's office. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So voted. Okay, the incident report, kind of interesting. You guys are all aware of the press release that I had sent out regarding illegal parking issues and infringement on the handicap crosswalks and the no parking here to corner signs. The month of June, we wrote a total of 98 tickets for infringement. 1202A2B is within 20 feet of a crosswalk, which means they're painted inside the yellow, or they're parked inside the yellow lines. 1202A1D means they're actually parked on the crosswalk in the white striped area. So if you look at your incident reports, you'll see the codes on the right-hand column, and it'll indicate to you what the violation was for. And then the illegal parking is any place where we have a sign that says here to corner or no parking here to driveway, such as the Savings Bank Plaza entrance. So when you see illegal parking, that's what those are. So like I said, for the month of June, 98 total tickets. Quite obvious we have a problem. I think it's starting to tail off, but nonetheless, we're still pursuing it. Pete has scheduled some officers to continue the enforcement this month, and we'll just see how it plays out over the next couple months here. Dog report. We got anything, Lisa?
Nope,
No?
didn't get one.
Committee reports. Trees. Howie?
Yes, everybody get the,
Oh, wait a minute. We didn't do planning and zoning, did we?
No,
Oh, yeah, we did the resolutions for the sidewalks, but I didn't talk to you about Bob's report.
no.
Rich and I had met with Bob about this issue with the illegal signage. People just repeated offenders, the same people all the time putting signs out, and now what it's leading to is almost like an explosion in people taking advantage of the situation and putting tables and chairs out on the sidewalk. I, over the weekend, was walking on the sidewalk from Route 9 in front of Village Pizza, and there was a table with 3 chairs there, and 1 chair was out into the sidewalk. The person had their back facing, and there's a tree well that goes around the tree there, and it left about that much space between this person's chair and the tree well. So clearly, the sidewalk accessibility is not what it should be. They're impeding the sidewalk. So Bob has sent letters to the people that we had issues with. There were a couple of other people that we noted today that need to be sent letters. And Rich had met with myself and Bob, and what our plan is here now, if somebody's a repeat offender, they're going to be cited and we're going to take them to court. We need to get a handle on this. And, I've said it before that, people want to come to Rhinebeck because it has a certain character and it looks a certain way. And if we just let this thing run rampant and don't manage it the way it should be managed, we're going to end up with a different looking community, and we're going to only have problems. It's going to create a problem for a business owner, it's going to create a problem for a property owner, and it's going to create a problem from the village perspective as far as liability issues. So we're going to continue to work on it.
Jim, are we confident that the courts will take these?
Yes,
cases?
I have had a discussion with both of our judges. We had a previous issue with a business owner, and both judges recused themselves from that case based on the fact that they both had a connection to that person. And they had to do what was right by law, was recuse themselves. But they both are willing to take these on. So I've had that discussion with them because I didn't want to end up in a situation where it was going to be remanded to another court and 6 months was going to go by and, nothing was going to be done, so. Okay? All right, that's it for planning and zoning. Howie, go ahead with the tree commission.
okay, did everybody get the report? So.
Yep.
Okay, so, first thing I want to do is to appoint a new member. Brian Del Pizzo of 20 West Chestnut Street. He sent this letter in a couple days after our last meeting, so it was kind of late for last month. So did everybody read this letter? I make a motion that we appoint Brian Del Pizzo as a member of the Village Tree Commission.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So voted.
Okay. Congratulations, Brian. Okay, the Tree Commission recommends the following actions to the Village Board. It was agreed to recommend the removal of the large maple on Mill Street. This is the one you just asked me about, Jim, across from the Legion, where one part of it had fallen off onto there. So the Tree Commission recommends it taken down.
That's the one that came down Memorial Day weekend.
Right. It's also agreed to recommend the removal of a dying tree at 6 South Street. Many wires, the tree will have to be removed professionally. Some of these we're going to try to get Central Hudson to take down. There's another one at 44 Oak Street. Now, this one was in question. the commission didn't know if it was in the right-of-way or not, and I went there today. Lisa told me it's 25 feet from the middle of the road, Oak Street, right? So this tree is about 22 and a half feet from the middle of the road, so I think it's in the right-of-way. So therefore, it's our responsibility. This is,
Get your micrometer out.
if you want to come with me, we can check it tomorrow, but the tree is clearly dead, and it's going all the way around the wires, and there's even a, what are those things called in there? Central Hudson.
Wires?
No, not wires, the other, the
Poles?
transformer. There's a transformer there, so maybe we can get Central Hudson to take this one down. There's other trees that people did not put permits in, but that the tree commission has recognized as being clearly dead, and even Mike Wolf from the highway department has pointed these out. There's one on Catholic Church Plaza, Monsignor Joy Plaza. There's a big dead tree there.
When we say Monsignor Joy Plaza, do we mean a road or do we mean on church property?
It's on
I'm
church
clear on that.
property, but I believe it's in the right-of-way. We have to determine if it's in the right-of-way.
Is this the one on South Street?
Yeah, there's one on South Street, right across the street from this one.
Yeah.
That's clearly in the right-of-way.
All right, we'll have to look at it.
Yeah.
'Cause I know Mike and I had looked at one on in the buffer strip between the road and the sidewalk with dead branches in it.
On South Street?
No, on Monsignor Joy
Oh,
Plaza.
okay.
All right. But I'm unclear as to where this tree is.
Okay, we'll look at it. They also recommend removing a dead tree in the mini park on the North Park side, and another tree in the mini park, and they believe that the highway department can take these down, they're not that big. Also, they recommend taking a dead tree down in front of 2123 Livingston Street. Now, this was there was not a permit filled out for this one. So what is our policy with this? If a neighbor notices a dead tree on somebody else's property, there's two of them here that are under this circumstance.
We talked about it last week.
Remove the dead tree in front of 2123 Livingston, that's the one you're talking about?
Yeah, the guy across the street, Jim Edison, was the one who pointed this out.
Well, if it's a dead tree and it's in the right-of-way, it's a safety hazard,
Okay,
you know?
So-
And if it's a public safety issue, we don't have to have an endorsement from the property owner.
right, but should we notify them? Like, these are two out-of-town people that own these properties. One's in New York City, one's in Hastings on Hudson.
Well, like I said, if it's a public safety issue, we can just go take the tree down,
So it's on the letter.
you know?
Right.
I mean, certainly if you want, we can send a letter to them, we'll notify them we're gonna take the tree down, but it's not like we have to have their permission.
No, I understand. but
Creates a
as
public
As a
hazard.
courtesy, should we send them a letter saying, hey, we took this tree down?
Probably be nice to notify them there's gonna be some
Yeah.
work in their area, yeah.
Okay. So that's it on all the trees that we need to take down. So I make a motion that the village board approve taking down these trees.
All right, budgeting,
Well,
you have tree removal money in your budget?
yeah, I know. And we're going to be using a lot of it. So
Yeah.
do we want to put pressure on Central Hudson and try to get a
Well,
couple of these down, obviously?
What I can tell you from my conversations with Central Hudson is that if it involves primary lines and they're in danger of losing the primary lines, they will do some work. They did that black walnut tree
Yeah, they took
up there on Montgomery
Yeah.
Street for us, all right? And they would have taken it all the way to the ground, but I said, well, you know, the black walnut tree, if it's usable, has some value as lumber. So they cut it down basically below the wires. If it's secondary lines that are just providing service, they're not gonna take the trees down, I can tell you that. So it all depends. We call them, we ask them to come take a look. They might say yes, they might say no. But they say the number of trees that they're asked to take down, and this guy I talked to said he covers 80 different communities in the Hudson Valley. And he says, we don't have the money to be proactive enough to address all of these tree issues. If it involves the primary lines where it's gonna wipe out a whole neighborhood, then they'll come in and do the work. But if it's gonna interrupt one house or two houses or three houses, nah, we'll just come cut the lines off and we'll restore the power. That's how they work.
Yeah, I know, we found that out, but this one here has a transformer on it, on 44 Oak Street.
We have to have them look at it.
Yeah,
And that's just Mike has to call Pete McFarland at Central Hudson and
Yeah.
have him come take a look.
Okay.
I
Okay.
talked to Pete for about 45 minutes after our last meeting. Okay?
Yep.
All right, now what's this last thing here, under other?
Okay, that was a mistake. Lisa had given us the wrong address. That's 50 South Street, but it's 55,
55.
so we didn't know where to look, so we didn't.
Cicely's going to go back and look at it and talk to her.
What is it?
She
About
needs to,
water
she needs
line.
to replace her water line from the main to her house,
Uh-huh.
but the water line goes straight under a village tree. And she really doesn't want to remove the tree.
All
So
right,
she
well,
wants to take the water line and go around the tree, but at the same point, the tree has done damage to the sidewalk.
this needs
Tom
to
is
get-
aware of this.
yeah,
I
this
already
needs to
did
get
talk to.
kicked to Hines and Tom, and then they need to work with the person and
Right,
figure
Tom's
something
already
out.
gone and looked at it, I've already talked to him about it, but now their issue is, well, moving the water line, but the tree's done damage to the sidewalk, so she wants to know how that
Well,
works.
it's two separate issues.
Right,
If the water line is going to be moved, Tommy has to, and Hines have to be involved, and Tommy has to sign off on that. But it's
Right.
not just a matter of installing a new line, the old line also has to be terminated,
right.
so that
and
it can't cause a problem later on.
She's talked with Tom about it
Yeah.
already.
And then if there's a sidewalk issue, then that's something the tree
That's what-
commission goes and looks at the tree, determines whether the tree
Right, they went to go
stays or
look at
goes.
it, but
Yep.
I gave them the address was
Okay.
incorrect, so they're gonna go back and look at it again
All right.
just for the sidewalk.
what is the
Tom is
number?
aware.
55
South Street.
South.
Monica, Niero.
Okay, so I have a motion. Do we have to go through with it?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, discussion. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted.
Thank you.
Website. Anybody got anything?
Nope.
Finance and controls. Have we done anything on this cash policy yet that you're aware
Nope,
of?
no, nothing was, no meeting,
Okay.
nothing.
All right,
Zipper.
I will follow up on that. Okay, other business, resolution for notice of claim. You want to give everybody a rundown on this?
The general municipal law has been amended so that now you can file a notice of claim through the Department of State. The Department of State, of course, is going to charge a fee for that, $250. If the municipality adopts a resolution designating the Department of State as an agent to accept service of process, you get one half of the fee. So that's the purpose for adopting that resolution and designating the Secretary of State for service of a notice of claim.
So I have a resolution here to that effect. I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor? Aye. Everybody?
What's the advantage to?
Yeah, it can be.
We're
a
going to get
discussion.
money.
If a notice of claim is served through through the Secretary of State, and you don't adopt the resolution, the state keeps the $250. If you adopt the resolution, you get half of
It's
it.
not that we're giving up half, we're getting half.
You're getting
Right.
half.
Okay.
It's a win-win for us.
They're piggybacking on us.
Got it, all right.
So we got 4?
All right, yep.
I'll give you the website tomorrow, you just want to log it in.
Okay, insurance. Keith?
All right, so we
Are
reviewed,
we still in other business here?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're on B on the agenda.
I left that out there,
Yep. Okay.
looks like
That's where we
that.
are.
Oh, okay.
So we reviewed the insurance policies and starting with the, should be an S there, workers' comp. We're with the New York State Insurance Fund, and under that, we're in Safety Group 497, which is administered by a broker, and we've been with that since 1996. That group is specific to municipalities, and Bill Dowden from Rhinebeck here is on the executive committee for the group. There are a total of about 100 safety groups, and there's also additional entities that participate directly with the New York State Insurance Fund. bottom line is it's a huge group of insured. The unique part there is that it is fully insured and backed by the state, so in order for them to default and it to fall back on the village would have to be, the state would have to default. Part of their package is that they pay dividends, or at least they have for the last 30 years, to the tune of 25%. And you'll see the numbers we have two policies, one for the village and one for the fire. The village policy is strictly based on the payroll that they would have to, take care of based on a claim. The fire is based on the population that's served. So you see the two numbers, around 80,000 for the village and 45 for fire. Now you have to back, this past year, it came in about 25, but or just below 25, should come a little higher than that typically. So the estimated costs, assuming we get another 25% dividend, will be about $93,000 for this year, which just started on 1 July. There's a couple alternatives to our current plan, and one is the New York State Municipal Workers' Compensation Alliance. This is a self-insured group, but it insures a large group of municipalities, and it seems to be growing, taking some of the business from NYSEF. And they guarantee no year-end audits, which translates to they're not going to come back and tack expenses on at the end of the year. Your quote is what you're going to pay. Just to note that the town switched to them last year, and as far as I know, they're happy with it. So that for this year would have been $76,000. So clearly there's a savings. Another alternative would be the Dutchess County Group, which is just being open to municipalities. They have a handful on there. I don't have a quote for them. They're also self-insured, but they're, to note, that's a small, very small group of.
That's what Molinari talked about.
Yeah, we went to that seminar, that's what they talked about. And I talked to her just yesterday, Rebecca White again.
When are they going to come out with some idea of what the cost is going to be?
Well, I didn't put forth a quote there because we just renewed on July 1. And what happens is it's very cost prohibitive to switch unless you wait until your time is up. You pay all kinds of penalties to get out of your current policy. So, and it's based on time. If you switch a month before, it's not so much. But if you switch 11 and a half months before, you're going to pay probably to the tune that would make it not worth it to make the change now.
So we are now with item number 1, insured?
That's what we have now.
We're with them
Yep.
for this year.
Yes, and
The
that ends when?
June 30th of next year.
Next year.
Just started.
And
Yeah.
when do we get the dividend?
The dividends get paid out, I believe. We won't see the dividend until January, I think it is, for the year that just ended on 30 June.
So
So that they have to,
6-month lag.
yeah.
yeah, they do all over the next few months, they do all their computations and figure out their losses across their,
So if you were to switch here in next year,
Yeah.
we would still get a dividend 6 months later from this current year?
I'm assuming you get the dividend based on the year that you were in. I don't think, yeah, you should.
Yeah.
As far as the county group, we have to provide them with information in order to get a cost estimate, because they need to see our payrolls, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
That's, he's set up here in the top part. For the village, the premium that we pay is based on payroll. So the county group would do the same thing. They would base it on what our payroll was, and see that what happens, what he's talking about with NYMER, with no audit. What happens is the state insurance fund every year then asks you to give them your payrolls for the prior year. And then they audit your payrolls, and as long as you've reported your payrolls accurately, you don't pay any additional money. But if you made a mistake, or if your payroll increased and you were paying a lesser premium than you should have been, then they assess you.
And I'm not sure about the, I had the most lengthy presentation from NYSEF, but the way they work is they do a 3-year look back. So actually the village, apparently 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago had a bad year in terms of comp. So our rates just went down because we dropped a bad year off the back end. So we've had 3 good ones, and the others may, probably follow a similar pattern, I would assume. So that gets adjusted.
Yeah, insurance companies don't like
Yeah.
paying out
So
But they-
when are we going to make a decision?
next year.
We're not making a decision on anything now, so the recommendation is, we kind of got on this a little late this year. Wasn't really time to
When we
put
do
forth
our
the
budget
change.
process next year.
Yeah, so it should go in the budget process about 90 days out. We should start looking at it, and that would give us time to, get multiple quotes and bring it here before the board. But just to give you an idea what we're looking at. And then the liability, that we currently have through Trident, which is through Farley and Raycow. And just to note there that they've had claims, we've been with them for 2 years, and we've had some claims with them related to the sidewalk. So we've seen our rates go up there. The alternatives to that's a much wider market because, workman's comp is based on payroll. The liability is kind of like car insurance. They can change your, deductibles and your coverage amounts a lot. So your premiums can change significantly there, but we
And how
currently,
many tickets you get,
what's that?
and how many tickets you get or faults you have.
Exactly, so your claim history is critical there. The one which kind of started this whole thing was Brian Miles from the Spain agency. We had that email about NYMER, and that is a liability policy, but they have all the information, but we're not able to get a quote from them yet because we have a pending letter from the DEC regarding the dam, which they've made some recommendations, but until we have a response to that letter, they won't quote us. That one started June 1st, and the same situation exists where, it's beneficial to wait until the renewal date to switch, otherwise you're going to pay penalties that are going to hurt you in the meantime. But there's plenty of you could get a lot of different places could quote. The place that does NICEF, Glatfelter Group, they can also give us a quote on the liability. And Glatfelter they're associated with the Dowden agency as well. So we would need to, same time, it's 30 days apart, so in the budget process next year, we can work on both of those, but we should address the Esher Dam.
Well, it's nice that you're driving this.
What's that?
It's very nice that you are driving this.
Yeah, try to remember this next February when we
We'll
got.
see. We gotta get through
Look into
March first.
Yeah.
He doesn't forget anything he remembers, Howard.
Oh, I
That's
know.
right. Yeah. One add-on on there is we do, the Fire Department Inc. has a policy, a supplemental accident and disability for the volunteer firefighters, which gives them additional coverage in the event of death or disability. And that's a 3-year term there, which is coming up in January. But we pay 25% of that premium, which.
We pay 50%.
We
We pay
do?
half.
Oh,
It's split. We pay half.
okay, so my number is half what it should be?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means we should get half the say, and, we'll request them to get maybe 3
Shop it.
quotes, so, to make sure that we're getting the best price when it moves forward.
That it?
That's it,
So
yeah.
that one we have to look at in probably
Yeah,
October.
that one's coming up in January, and I'll
Yeah,
talk
we'll
to them
nudge
about,
them in the fall.
Yeah.
because they hold the policy and we just make a payment on it, so
Right.
that's gonna be up to them to do it.
We'll see what happened was a few years back when Wayne was liaison, they had a policy, and then they increased it, and we agreed to pay half of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Heath, thanks for all your work on this. It's a pretty comprehensive look that you took at everything, and definitely positions us better for next year when we go into the budget process.
Good job.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
We are-
More other business.
Yeah, I just have a question here. What
Oh,
has
forget
happened?
that.
Yeah, no, on that.
No?
No, it's supposed to.
What's your question?
Well, the question is, in the water department, we are in need of some updated equipment, and I was informed by Lisa that the town is going for a grant. And I
Town
haven't-
and the village
And the village.
are in that grant
in the
together.
grant together. And I haven't heard any updates on that. Is
It's
that,
been submitted.
it's been
There's
submitted
no
in
update.
time?
It was just submitted the end of
It had to
June.
be, it had to be submitted by the 27th of June.
And it was submitted.
And basically, the upgrades for this building would involve 7 new computers and some printers,
Yeah.
et cetera.
Not just for this building, but I think even in the water plant too.
No, just this building.
Okay, so what, can I go out and buy them for myself?
You need to
In the
put a
water
plan
plant?
together and come to the board with it if you want to do
Okay.
something.
Well, I was waiting, I thought it was part of this year, and you're saying it is not.
No, nothing for, like, the wastewater
Water
plant,
plant.
or the physical
Okay.
plants.
Okay,
The wastewater department downstairs and the water department downstairs, yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the administration.
it's the administration part of it,
Okay.
yeah.
So I have
And
to,
basically, the way it is, Heinz, is there'd be a fiber optic cable between the two buildings.
yeah,
There'd be a server over at the town hall that would be shared, but it would all be, of course, encrypted,
right.
you know. So the grant has been submitted, and we just have to wait for the review process and notification, whether we get it or not.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yep.
Correspondence. We had received on June 24th a letter from Rebuilding Together Dutchess County. And this is the program that, you know, it's a not-for-profit organization that helps low-income homeowners do home repairs. And the information is here. I'll give it to Lisa, so if there's anybody out there in TV land that is interested in finding out more about Rebuilding Together, they can ask Lisa for the information. We had received some correspondence from a film group that wants to do, they're doing a movie,
I want to be in it.
excuse me,
I want to be in it.
contact them. Tell them you want to be an extra,
You're already a grumpus, aren't you?
That's right.
Santa Claus.
all right? So they've made a request to use some space here in the municipal parking lot. They're talking about 12 spots. And basically, Lisa, it's along this side over here, correct?
Yeah.
You know, this first row when you go in. They want to use them from 2 in the afternoon until 12, and then they're going to do some shoots on the street. And what we had suggested to them was that they get to, if they're going to park a vehicle, that they talk to the business owner where they're going to park the vehicle in front of, and make sure they're okay with the fact that they're going to do that. So they had contacted Peter over at Iconic Hair, and Peter said no problem. And they're making contact with Casarinos for that side, right? Which is Bob Joffe's old barber shop. So basically, I guess we just need to make a motion here to approve this.
Okay, when you
So
start again?
I'm going to make a motion to approve it.
August 7th.
Is there a second?
Second.
What
Discussion?
kind of movie it is?
I have no idea.
No?
They shoot all the time here.
Oh, they do, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
They've-
I think this
they've
is the
done-
same group that's been down the gardens, isn't it?
Yeah, they've done, last year they were here, the year before they were here. Yeah, I think are they the ones that just did the vampire thing at the gardens?
I think so,
There was a
yeah.
film crew at the gardens doing a vampire film.
Lisa, you said
Here all
when?
the time.
When?
Vampires.
August.
Are they planning on blocking the
August
parking lot, Foster's parking lot over there? I know they're going to be next door to
No,
the
it's supposed to
barber
be the
shop.
space in front of the hair salon.
Just there, that's it.
That's what I was told. That's
Okay.
what, that's from their emails, that's what they're saying. Peter's given them the approval to park in the spot in front of his shop.
Right.
You said August the 2nd?
7th.
7th.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So voted.
Yeah, we were there last year.
Any other correspondence, Lisa?
That's all I have.
Okay, water and sewer adjustments. What do you got, Heinz?
Well, I was an eager beaver last month, and Lisa sort of stopped me. And because of that, I have nothing to report except
Good job,
news.
Lisa.
Except good news, we have 12 new accounts during the month of June, and 4 new taps in the garden.
And the 12 new accounts, this is just like a person buying a
Buying a
house and
house.
switching over.
So,
There was actually, speaking
12.
of that, there was good news on the radio this morning that there's been an increase in the number of real estate closings, and hopefully this is going to be a spike in our mortgage tax
Yeah,
revenue.
yeah.
you know?
How many
12?
taps? No, how many taps?
4,
Thank you.
So you don't have any adjustments then?
no adjustments, no.
Okay.
Already made them.
Next one.
Thank you.
All right.
Next month.
So vouchers are ready to be approved downstairs. And I need a motion to go to executive session for personnel matters.
Can I go back to one, a highway question?
Yeah, sure.
The, the bridge down, just downstream of, on Route 9, south of,
Yes. By the Legion Park,
yes,
Yes.
just down from Asher Dam.
yes.
Any news on that?
Did you happen to, we talked about, there's a railing that was pulled out probably during a hurricane and kind of
What is that?
unsafe. There's a big drop off there.
Well, there's that one brace that isn't attached.
Right,
I checked the railing. The railing's not loose. The railing's good and solid.
okay, but
It's the transition of the railing where it comes down, on both sides, actually, there's just like kind of big voids that are,
Why don't you and I get together and we'll go down and take a look at it? And you can run it by me what you're thinking.
all right, perfect.
All right.
And I have a question, would that be under the highway department to maintain, to paint that bridge there? Because it's
No,
like, is
I
that
don't
a
think
state
so.
bridge?
It's a DOT bridge. As far as the maintenance of the sidewalk part of it, that I think would be our responsibility. The railing, I don't know if that's considered the superstructure of the bridge, or we have to find out.
Well, that's been the
That's a
question,
DOT
because
question.
it's, the actual pedestrian bridge is, there's a space between it and the road, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Do you want to say something about that?
oh, yeah. I'd like to take a moment. Bob Winnie, who was a village attorney, I completely forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me,
Yeah.
had passed away, actually on July 4th. And Bob was 89 years old, served as the village attorney for 50 years. Was very involved in the community over those years, great community servant. I know he was a big, big mentor to me when I got involved in village government. Taught me a lot, about how to conduct business and the way you should run meetings and those types of things. And I just want to take the opportunity to thank Bob personally for everything he did for me. And I would like to ask everybody to please stand, and I'll offer a moment of silence in Bob's memory. Thank you. Rest in peace, my friend.
You got 50 years, Rich.
You won't see me in 50.
48 million. Catch up to him.
He can't even say he's a short timer. Okay. Did you have any comments you wanted to make tonight?
Sam Kate Long from page 6 of Montgomery, and I've been.
Come up to the microphone, please, Kate.
Thank you. I'm Kate Long. I live at 86 Montgomery. As I mentioned in previous meetings, I'm employed by Reuters, an international news agency, to write about the municipal bond market, so I have a lot of experience in that area. And I've been in communication with HealthQuest, David Ping, about the nonprofit status of the hospital, because he had made several references to the fact we were in discussion about for-profit leasing of the hospital space. And I've been emailing, and he said that they, in fact, the for-profits that leased space at Northern Duchess were paying property taxes. So I went through the property rolls and discovered that, in fact, none of them were. And so in responding to him and saying that, he said he would have the CFO of HealthQuest and the facilities manager address the issue. So that's where we are. And this is related to the proposed addition and sort of just generally the tax status of the property. So if you have any other question.
We certainly appreciate your diligence in this, and certainly are interested to hear what your findings are.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I've written about it nationally, on the national level and stuff, so it's just sort of a reflection of things that are, going on across the country about communities questioning the income of properties that are not on their tax rolls or having exemptions. Yeah.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I need a motion to go to executive session for personnel matters, please.
I want to make a motion to go to executive session to discuss some personnel matters.
Is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So voted. Yep. Excuse me?
Come back and do business?
Yes. We shouldn't be too long. Please.
I make a motion to resume regular session.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So voted. Is there any other business anybody wants to discuss? Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
He seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So voted. We're done. Thank you.